very pleased to welcome my next guest today, Manhattan Senior Fellow Robert Bryce, on a stealth tax that you should know about. Robert, welcome.
Thank you, Mary.
Now, Robert, I thought that President Obama had abandoned his cap-and-trade, national cap-and-trade ambitions, and that the whole green energy, shall we say, religion had been somewhat debunked by the problems of Solyndra and other green energy companies. But you say that there's something going on in the States, kind of through the back door, that we should know about.
Well,
what is that?
Sure. Thanks, Mary. The president still favors a national renewable standard requiring a certain amount of electricity nationally to be derived from renewables, but that's not going anywhere fast. But what has been kind of flying under the radar is that 29 states and the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico all have instituted renewable portfolio standards, most over the last 10 years. So this really came to my attention about a year ago. I spoke at Tufts University, and the speaker before me was Sudeen Kelly, used to be a member of the FERC, and she said that the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission.
Okay.
And she said that these renewable mandates are a back-end way to put a price on carbon. And when she said it, I thought, well, of course. So the report that I've done for Manhattan Institute is really trying to establish, well, what is that cost? What is the cost per ton, then, if these states are instituting these renewable mandates, and how effective are they? And we don't really know.
Well, 29 states, that's a lot of people.
Sure.
Let's ask the obvious question, which is what is the cost? Can you give me an average price?
Looking at EIA data, what we were able to establish very clearly was that in 2010, residential electric rates in the states that have the mandates were nearly 32% higher than in the non-mandate states. The commercial electric rates were 27% higher, and industrial rates were 30.7% higher. So it's clear that the states with mandates have higher electric rates. But we also took it one step further, Mary, and said, okay, let's try and find states that are as similar as we can in terms of their generation mixes. So we found 7 states and with mandates that are coal dependent, and 7 states that don't have mandates that are also coal dependent. And we found that in the states with the mandates that are coal dependent, their rates increased by more than 50%, which is more than twice the rate of the non-mandate states. So there is a clear correlation between these mandates and higher electric costs.
And just take me through why these costs are so significant.
Sure.
Is it because that cost differential to go to wind and to solar is that much more that the governments are having to shell out money to pay for it, and that cost is being passed down to the consumer? Take me through the mechanics of how this works.
Well, let's be clear. There are a lot of things that affect electric rates, and now we have a lot of issues coming together at the same time. We have the EPA cracking down on coal-fired power plants, so a lot of them are being forced off the market. We have lower-cost natural gas, which is helping ameliorate some of the rise in electric costs. But at the same time, we have expansions of the transmission grid to accommodate wind. So in my home state in Texas, for instance, they're building a massive transmission system to allow wind energy from West Texas to come down to the states in the south and central part of the state, and that alone is going to cost ratepayers $4 to $5 per month, just the transmission capacity.
Wait, you said that you're from the great state of Texas. I thought that was a Republican-governed state by the former GOP presidential candidate Rick Perry. So are you telling me that Republicans are also supporting these kinds of measures?
Absolutely, and that's why we have them now in 29 states. There has been a bipartisan effort in a bunch of states because renewable energy, and give it to the renewable energy proponents, have been very effective at the marketing of this type of energy. But we haven't had, and that's what the point that I make in the report, is we haven't had a real clear discussion about, okay, what do these mean in terms of the consumer? How and what do they mean in terms of a per ton cost on carbon? Because that's the key point is, okay, if this is in fact a carbon tax, how much is it going to cost us, and how soon? And that's what the report recommends, is that we need to do a thorough cost analysis of these mandates and find out exactly how much they're costing, and if they're costing too much, to suspend them or eliminate them.
I'm talking to the Manhattan Institute's Robert Bryce. Just wondering if you could comment very briefly on efforts on the national level, because once renewable energy mandates are born in the states, they almost never, the effort to get them nationally never dies. Is there anything being done there on that front in Congress?
Well, the president has said that he favors that, but I mean, here's the key issue now for the renewable proponents, is that the shale revolution has fundamentally changed the economics of energy in America. Natural gas is now selling for less than $3, and that price differential is saving consumers $264 million a day compared to the pre-shale revolution, and further, it's making wind and solar even more uneconomic than they were before. So there's no reason to be doing wind and solar with natural gas so abundant and so cheap.
we're in an environment of rising energy costs anyway. We're looking at things like
Sure.
$5 gas, maybe even higher. Although I hope it doesn't go there. We're not
Sure.
talking up those markets. But given that, are we seeing any backlash in the states? Anybody pushing back, trying to rescind these policies, or not yet?
I think that, I mean, this is one of the key issues, Mary, is that today, and we're hearing from politicians and the media alike about outrage over rising oil prices. Why? Because everyone understands what the price of gasoline is. They can tell you to the penny what the last price of gasoline or gallon of gasoline they bought. They can't tell you what they're paying for electricity because no one knows how to read their electric bill. So we've had, in fact, in many cases now, are these stealth taxes going into place and people don't know how to read their bill, so they don't know how much they're paying. But it's abundantly clear from EIA data overall, U.S. electric prices have gone up more than 30% over the last 6 years or so. So electric prices are on the increase, and this is very bad for the overall economy.